Sunbelt Baseball Championships presented by Troy University. For those in the room, when asking a question, please remember to identify yourself with your name and media affiliation. For those joining us via Zoom, please remain on mute and type your questions into the chat. We're joined now by Southern Miss and head coach Scott Berry. Coach, would you begin with an opening statement and introduce your player?
Yes. Really good game by our guys. Of course, this is Tanner Hall, our starting pitcher, and the only pitcher we use today. Complete game and in incredible fashion. I think when you look at his line and what he did, 9 innings, only giving up 3 hits. One of those runs, the only run was unearned in that inning. But great job by our offense. Played a lot of defense behind him as well. So certainly it was a great team effort in what we were able to do. But if you break down his outing, of the 27 outs, 7 of those outs were by him fielding his position, either by comebackers to himself, throwing to Sarge, or Sarge making a play and Tanner covering first, or if it was the inning where we did give up the 1 run, he was able on the safety squeeze to field the ball himself. It was in that kind of that Bermuda Triangle. It's kind of a danger zone, but the athlete that he is, obviously he was able to pick it up, tag the guy we challenged, and won the challenge. So credit him with his ability to field his position, which is really important to winning baseball games. And then, of course, retiring 17 of the last 18 hitters that he faced.
We'll open it up, start left to right.
Tanner, the last time you faced James Madison, you gave up 12 hits, 5 runs. Was that in the back of your mind today? I mean, how did you go about doing things today?
That was definitely in my head before the game and stuff. Once I found out that's who I was going to be going up against, and I definitely wanted to, go out and do better than I did last time, and that's kind of all I really told myself, was that I was going to, go try a little harder, to minimize each mistake I make and things like that. And overall, once I kind of started rolling and stuff, and the defense was making plays behind me, it made it a lot easier for me to just go out there and trust everything I was throwing, along with the offense turning up at the end of the game. They really were putting a lot of runs up on the board, and it made it very easy to go out there each inning and just kind of trust that I was going to get 3 outs at some point, whether it was the first 3 guys or first 6 guys, whatever it was.
Coach, everybody knew what Tanner Hall would do at the first of the year, but your pitching staff as a whole has made enormous strides. Talk about that.
It has, and I think really, Bob, I think it's the whole team. I think the first half, we were trying to figure out the pieces. We were trying to figure out the pieces on the pitching staff. We had the starters figured out. That wasn't a problem there at all. It was, the bullpen pieces that we were so inconsistent with, and I think the same way with the offense. We weren't hitting 1 through 9 there that first half, and the top half would be hitting and the bottom half wouldn't. So it was a pretty short lineup. We started getting the length out of that. We started figuring out the guys that separated themselves in the bullpen through consistency that needed to be out there and gave us the best chance to win. And certainly over these last 20 games, I feel like that we've figured that out. We finally have gotten that separation and who's supposed to be out there and who's supposed to be those backups.
Coach, just what does the outing like Tanner had today do for the bullpen, the team, and everything, not having to throw a single pitcher?
Well, it's incredible. Everybody's rested and everybody's ready to go moving forward. So great workload by him. We went 102 pitches there in 9 innings, and just an outstanding outing. Let's credit his battery mate too, Rodrigo Montenegro. I can tell you right now, he thinks the world of Rodrigo, and he was working him. And when I say Rodrigo was working him, I saw him get on him one time on an 0-2 because he didn't bury it, and the next pitch he came back and buried it, and Tanner acknowledged him. You're right. So, I think they're a huge partnership in what happens there. So, real proud of Rodrigo in the game, and not to mention he had 3 hits, and with that.
Can you speak on the lineup's production? They go down 1-0, and then they respond by scoring, I think, in 4 straight innings.
Yeah, the guy that they started, we knocked him out in the 2nd inning, I think, at our place. And today, he came out, thought he had good stuff. We didn't have, our swings looked a little bit late, but I think once we got through that time through the lineup, we started that second time, we started making some adjustments. it all kind of started with Edsel on a backside double there, and that kind of broke the ice for us, even though we didn't score in that inning. But that started setting the tone. You know, Danny Lynch's walk there and Monastero's 2-run homer. Once again, we utilized that walk. We also used it later on in the inning where Reese had a 2-run RBI 2-out hit, followed up with Danny with another 2-out hit. We'd missed on some of those situations earlier, but we just kept grinding, found a way to do it. Dickerson put together a nice game as well with a big run. I think that 7th run was his that he drove in. So did a great job offensively, got length out of our lineup.
Tanner, I know you talked about how you want to set the tone, you know, being the Friday night guy. What tone do you feel like you guys as a team set today for the rest of this?
I think we just kind of set the tone that we're gonna go after people, no matter what, no matter how long it takes, you know, because we started off a little slow, and there was definitely a lot of questioning in the dugout, like, oh, why are we playing like this right now? But once we figured it out, you know, we put it on them and just kept rolling with it, and I feel like that's the tone we want to keep going with for this entire tournament, for the rest of the year, that no matter what the score is throughout the game, we can put up a 4 spot just as easy as scoring 1 run. You know, it's anything can happen. It's baseball, and things can get crazy.
Do you know who you're going to throw tomorrow yet?
I hadn't even talked to him, honestly. Kind of have an idea. But no, we hadn't even discussed it, honestly. We're going to let the dust settle here today and see what we'd used and where we were going to go. So, and didn't know who the opponent was going to be until Troy won that game.
Can you speak on facing Troy in the next round?
Oh, going to be a really good challenge, man. I mean, they're a good ball club. They were a good ball club when we played them over there at their place, and when we were able to take 2 out of 3. So, you know, I think with their win today, obviously that carries them momentum, and they're trying, you know, like really hard to build that resume for one of those considerations in an at-large bid, and certainly I think they're worthy of it. I mean, they're a good ball club and have pretty much shown it all year long. So it'll be a big challenge for us. A lot of respect for those guys, and but you know, we gotta play the game, win the game. It's not the opponent that's got to dictate, you know, how we play. We got to be mature about it and go out and play it like we're supposed to.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.